Hey guys, welcome back for another round of quadratic formula. We got homework 4 starting right now. You're not going to be very happy with me today. So things are going to take a turn for the worse on these 3 examples. Let's get rolling. Sorry for the bad news up front. All right, here we go. First example. And again, we're in business. We've got it set equal to 0. So we're still rolling quadratic formula. We're still picking out A values, B values, C values. So we have A equals, B equals, C equals. We've got a 2, a 2, and a 13. So plugging in A's, B's, and C's into our new best friend quadratic formula. Whoops. So negative B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC. So like we've been doing, still using this formula, still getting problems that are happening for us. We're going to plug them in, and you kind of have the feel already. I like to get everything structured, all these substitutions ready to roll in there. Okay, easy plug-ins right here. Your A's, B's, and C's are all positive numbers. Since they're all positive numbers, you don't have any tricks with the negatives. Gosh, the C's a 13. The A's and B's are both 2's. Well, that's the easiest substitution we've done all day. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe these problems aren't going to be hard today. Okay, let's get it cleaned up. Negative 2 plus or minus 2 squared, that's 4. Right now you're struggling. You're like 4 times 2 times 13. You're like, I don't know what that is. Let's go 104. And all this is over 4. Right about now, when you start to clean this up, is when you realize you've got an issue. You've got problems. This is negative 2. This is still plus or minus. This is 4. But this is a 4 minus 104, which means you have a negative answer. Inside your square root sign is a negative sign. You're like, that ain't good. So think about what this means to us. We have a square root of negative 100. So you say to yourself, when there's a negative inside the square root, what letter is fixing to show up? Oh, it's an I. It's definitely an I value. So this negative we rewrite as an I. Now we do kind of catch a huge break on this first one is that we know the square root of 100. The square root of 100, oh, okay. That's just going to be 10. So this whole thing just becomes 10I. So we did have square root of negative 100. We brought in our I value, and square root of negative 100 actually becomes 10I. So when we go to work this problem from here on out, we have negative 2 plus or minus 10I over 4. So yeah, I value showing up today. Sorry about that. Okay, and some of the issues from last homework's problems is we've got to run a split, and when you run the split, you're like, oh man, more fractions. So not only do you have I values, now you have fractions, and fractions that you got to reduce. So just to get a final answer, 2/4 becomes 1/2, and then 10/4 divided by 2 becomes 5/2. So 10 over 4 reduces to be 5 over 2. Don't forget your I. So you've got what you need. You've got a fraction here. You've got an I value there. Those are not like terms. You cannot put those together. So final answer, as scary as it looks, fraction, I value with the fraction. We've got a rough road ahead of us on these problems today. Okay, that was your first look at it. So what we'll try now is example number 2. All right, example number 2. Here we go. I've got x squared minus 4x plus 6 equals 0. So for this second example, we've got it set equal to 0. We can start running our A's, B's, and C's. You do have a negative 1 this time. We do have a positive 1 for my A negative for my B, C's a positive 6. So last example we caught a break, not this time. A's, B's, and C's. B's negative. All right, let's pump it in there. You guys know how I'm going to write it. I'm just going straight to this version of quadratic formula. It's all spelled out. We're ready to dump these values into those places. B's first, watch out for that negative sign. So negative 4's again, A is a positive 1, C is a positive 6. So you're getting the correct values into the correct places. Let's do some cleanup. All right, clean them up. Negative times negative, positive 4. And again, a negative number squared is positive. Minus, and then we got 4 times 1 times 6 is 24. 2 times 1 is 2. So you're in that same spot. Again, inside here, we go to clean this up. 16 minus 24, that's a negative 8. You're like, what? A negative 8. So inside our square root is a negative. We've got to clean that mess. All right, we know this. Anytime you've got a negative value, you have to represent that with your I. So we did have negative, we take it out, we put an I. But now you've got square root of 8, which is not a nice number. So you got to come over here and run a factor tree on it. So you got to clean up the 8, which is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. So you've got a few 2's in there. Look for your pairs. Grab a pair of 2's, run it on the outside. So what was square root of 8, you factor tree it down, becomes 2 square roots of 2. So don't forget, you still got to change this with your I value. So it's 2I square roots of 2. So the negative makes the I. The square root of 8 rewrites from 2 square roots of 2 to become 2I square roots of 2. So now this is your switch. You had negative 8. We're replacing it with 2I square roots of 2. Let's get all this out of the way. So to finish the problem, you have 2I square roots of 2, and all this is over 2. All right, and we're having the same issues that we had on the last homework. We've got to run our split. So you've got to divide by 2 on the left, you got to divide by 2 on the right. 4 divided by 2, that's just 2. Oh yeah, look at that. And those two 2's, they're just going to cancel each other out. So you're left with I square roots of 2. So for a final answer for your x, oh, you're looking at it. It's pretty nasty. So you've got a regular number, you've got plus or minus, you have a square root and an I value, all thrown in there together. Oh, it's a mess. So these problems today, fully loaded, full of trouble. Okay, second answer, second example in the books. Let's go one more. And this one's the worst of them all. All right, number 3. This one is not friendly. 4x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. So this one is going to be rough. This is going to be rough. All right, here we go. We've got A, we've got B, we've got C. Boom, boom, boom. So 4, negative 6, 9. Okay, here's my values for A, B, and C. Again, be on the lookout. B is a negative. Let's get them in there. So set up your quadratic formula. And we've got all the holes opened up. We're ready to plug them all in. First off the bat's that negative 6. Then we got an A value, positive 4, positive 4. We got a C value, positive 9. Okay, so the one trick is with the negatives right now. So right off the bat, negative times negative, positive 6. And again, a negative number squared, positive 36. And then you got to multiply a 4 times a 4 times a 9. Like, man, I need my calculator today. 144, 2 times 4 is 8. Oh, I told you, this one's the worst. So we've got a 6 plus or minus, all on 8 on the bottom. And then we have to do 36 minus 144, which turns out to give us a negative answer, negative 108. This is awful. We've got to go to work on this. All right, so we have in front of us a negative 108. Taking care of the negative sign, we represent it with an I value. Oh my gosh, the 108 is horrible. So we've got to grab the 108 and start that factor tree way over here. So 108, what is that going to be? 2, 54, 2 and 27, 3 and 9, 3 and 3. Look at that mess. Oh, brother. Okay. So 108 will become 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. So you had 108. Now you've got a whole bunch of 2s and 3s. One pair of 2s, one pair of 3s, bringing it out, bringing it out. So you got 2 times 3. And then think, I've got to clean this up, the 2 times 3. Let's get this out of the way here, which becomes 6 square roots of 3. So I started off with square root of 108, brought it down to 6 square roots of 3, and now I got to put it together with my I value. So all this becomes 6i square roots of 3. So that was just one small part of it we had to fix. All right, let's go back to where we were fixing it at. So again, we left off. We had the 6, we had the plus or minus, we had the 8 on bottom, and that was square root of negative 108. We changed it to this, 6i square roots of 3. Oh, it's awful. Here we go. So we've got the split coming. So now you've got fractions and I, guys, and square roots. And this might be the worst problem of the day. Look at this. Fraction, fraction, 6/8. You have to reduce on both of them. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So that becomes 3/4. 6/8 right here becomes 3/4. But don't forget, you've got an I and you got a square root. So here's my I and here's my square root of 3. So this whole mess, a fraction, a plus or minus, 3i squared to 04, this is our answer. So this is what you guys signed up for. You said, give me a challenge. Give me some problems that are rough. I need some pressure. Well, you've got it. These guys are kind of rough. Okay, so there's your 3 examples. There's your 3 looks at this. Let's write out some problems for this assignment. So again, this is homework 4. Let's get these guys written down. Okay, here we go. So x squared plus Whoops, hold on. Whoa. Sorry about that, my numbering system. Let's get the right numbers on there. So we left off at 12, so this is 13, this is 14, and 15. So only 3 problems on this assignment. It's so bad there's only 3 problems. So here we go. 3x squared minus 4x plus 2 equals 0. So here's your homework assignment for homework 4. You've got 13, 14, and 15. But only 3 of them this time. That's how bad they are. All right, now that you've got that copied, you've got it all set, let's talk about the deadline. So for homework 4, you're now looking at the next Friday. So deadline for this one is, again, It's noon on Friday, but this is the next Friday. This is April 10th. But don't wait till Friday. Just send me that email, get it turned in early, get your attendance credit, get your homework credit, turn things in early. That would be fabulous. All right, guys. This homework, only 3 of them, homework 4, get after it.